Nick Simon, director of Buckets.
Todd Serlin, writer, producer of Buckets. This is, I think, for both of us, a really great way of ending our educational experience. We're currently going to be graduating in December, and this was my only thesis project, Nick's second thesis, and it's just a terrific way to sort of end the experience at AFI.
Buckets is about sort of this guy's life. He's a street performer, busker, if you will, who used to set up shop right over there in Hollywood and Highland, and plays a bucket for money every day. So it was we kind of created this docudrama type thing when we actually cast the real guy, and it's sort of about his life and really a horrible day of his.
Yeah, I actually met the actor during my first year at AFI, and I pulled him into a film that we were working on as an extra, and we got to talking and got to know each other. And I've always wanted to create a street tale, and his experience was just so powerful that I wanted just to craft a story around him and his experience working as a street performer on Hollywood Boulevard. I had met Bruce Cherry outside of just right across the street, Hollywood and Highland, where he plays buckets daily for his money. And we became friends, and I developed this story about his life, sort of a slice of life tale that drew from his personal experience being a street performer. And he's just blows up off the screen, very charismatic, and I felt his story was something that deserved the attention that I wanted to bring to it, and so crafted the script. And the whole AFI process is that you submit scripts for submissions for a greenlight process between the first and second year. I was fortunate enough to have my script greenlit in the first round and went through several stages of development, and Nick came on board, and the rest is on the screen.
That's an interesting story. Like, I did my first thesis film, and I was just kind of wrapping that up, and these guys sort of lost their director on the project. He kind of dropped off a couple times. One guy got kicked back, thrown out of school, and a couple other people, or the other guy sort of dropped off the project. So I kind of literally walked on like a month before we shot or so.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so it was just it's an interesting story.
It was a tough process. We had gone through, as Nick said, a few directors, and the school is very nervous about the project, as AFI should be. And it was almost the last straw when I ran into Nick and passed him the script, and he called me that night and decided to attach to the project, which was to our great benefit, because for the first time in the whole development process, the story, the script, everything really kind of meshed into a very clear vision. Being the writer and being the producer, I was in two roles, which is very unusual. I'm actually the only one coming out of AFI that wrote and produced. But without a real director, we lacked this cohesive vision. And once, as I said, Nick came on board, everything became very, very clear. So it became a much easier process once we went into production. And that's, yeah. There were a lot of challenges in development and pre-production. AFI has a very regimented process, and they ostensibly represent the studio. Uh, and there was a lot of difficulty in terms of getting buy-in from the school, from our mentors, in terms of using non-professional actors and having me write the script and not a formal AFI screenwriter. So there was a lot of difficulty up until Nick came on board, and then everything just became incredibly smooth. All of our days were made. We made all our schedules early. A couple other difficulties with the non-professional actors.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
I think that was the biggest challenge, was just working with all non-actors. and trying to get like real performances out of them. So I think the only way to really make that work was to make that dialogue their own. So we ended up kind of changing the script a little bit. You know, we basically stuck with the story, but sort of let them sort of improv most of the film, because that was the only way to make it real. You know. Totally. I'm not at all sort of a verite guy, so I'm usually very controlled movement, and we did a lot of handheld and a lot of. We shot like 22 hours of footage for a 13-minute film, just based on like, okay, let's try it this way, let's try this, and let's try this, and literally every take was different. So it was really creating the film in the edit also. So
Definitely. There was several drafts of the script. Went through many iterations because we were just trying to figure out what the movie was going to be, whether it was going to be a traditional AFI 3-act structure, which it did not become. And then once Nick started to really look in, we started to collaborate on the script. It was essentially, as Nick would say, it was no longer a Bible. It was really more of a template, so that the actors had a fair degree of looseness to sort of fall into the roles and really apply their real world experience to make it much more authentic. So it was interesting. As a producer, I was all about getting the best story that we could. As a writer, it was a little difficult at times because I realized that sometimes the words that I wrote were going to be adjusted based on just on the fly directive. Actually, yeah, I spent the last few weeks locked in a room writing the feature. It's loosely based on the lead character, but it's set in New York. It's a very gritty, urban hip hop movie, something like, I would say, Beat Street meets The Warriors modern day. So I'm really, really excited about that, and I think that hopefully with the reception of this movie, Buckets, people will be interested in something a little fresh on the hip hop side for a feature. Enthusiasm is infectious. Be passionate every step of the way. Don't let anything stand in your way.
that's great. Great. It's been interesting. It's different than a lot of other festivals because everybody lives here, sort of like a lot of the filmmakers are here. So some of the other festivals I've been to, where you're all kind of trapped in one hotel, so everybody's always at all the parties, and it's been weird in a sense like that, but it's been really, a lot of fun actually. So if that makes any sense at all. You
Had a blast.
Really cut that out.
It's been really, really a whirlwind, amazing experience. This all happened so quickly because we had just delivered our movie when we found out that we got accepted into the festival. Everybody here has been incredibly welcoming and cordial and extremely professional. So for me, as a first big film festival, the experience has really been something I'll never forget.